Hello.
Hello. Who is this, Carter?
This is Carter.
Hi. Okay, we've got George here. He's got about 10 minutes. Is that okay?
That sounds fine to me.
Okay, I'm going to put him on now. And you also have Larry on the phone with you,
Yeah.
Carter?
Hello, right here.
Okay, I'm going to put George on now.
Thanks.
George?
I'm Carter Allen from WBCN,
And this is Chachi Lopret.
and we're speaking with the one and only Spike Wilbury, who's been good enough to give us a phone call.
Unbelievable, a truly historic moment in WBCN history. Thanks for being with us, Spike.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Any time. It's nice to talk to you, Larry and Carter.
Well, first thing I want to ask you is the question that's been on most people's lips is the Wilburys, will they be going on a long walk? Will they possibly be going on tour? And if you're going on tour, Spike, will you be packing a lunch? That's what I
Yeah. Well, we definitely we pack a lunch regardless of, even when we just go to shoot a video, we always have a packed lunch. And when we go away for weekends, we take a whole truckload of lunch, and with all the catering things, the tables, the chairs. And
what about a tour? What's the inside line on that, Spike?
Well, I don't know. It's sort of
no decision yet.
There seems to be these days. It's difficult to strike a balance between doing a show or a couple of shows and being stuck on the road for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Well, you really only have to do one in Boston, actually.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about doing some kind of thing, but personally, I don't like the idea of being away, on tour for a year, and that's the kind of thing that would happen. The promoters, by the time, with the logistics of tours these days, by the time you get everything organized, then, they ultimately will talk you into, well, you might as well just go to Japan and Australia, and,
Right.
before you know where you are, you got a new life.
Right.
Now, this is okay for maybe, Muddy Wilbury or Blue Wilbury, because they can do that. They do that all the time anyway. But
Well, let's talk about one of your famous get-togethers, one of your famous sessions. When the Wilburys get together, who makes the coffee and who ends up washing the dishes?
none of us, actually. We have somebody who's called Bugs who makes the coffee. And the dishes, we just leave them there,
What did the Wilburys do on New Year's Eve? What did you do to bring in the new decade?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for the others because I have no idea where they were. But I was watching the moon. There was a blue moon, actually, on New Year's Eve.
Right.
And I was in the Pacific on an island, and I saw the moon come up out of the ocean, and I just sort of watched that most of the time. But I had the flu at the time, so I didn't really have a big party or anything this year.
Well, you do have a song in a new album, New Blue Moon.
That's right, yeah, and apparently that's what it was on New Year's Eve.
And that is my favorite cut on the album, Spike. I just love that song.
I'm glad you like that. Yeah, we all like that track. It sounds so simple, and yet it's so catchy.
It's a great song, and you've done the vocals on that song. That's correct?
Well, it's a combination, really. Is actually Muddy and Clayton.
Mm-hmm.
They sing in unison, and then I sing the harmony beneath that.
Spike, which Wilbury is the twist aficionado?
Oh, it's definitely Boo. Yeah, he knows all the best steps.
Will the Wilburys be twisting in the next video?
Well, we'll be playing the Wilbury Twist, and we have a whole array of other people who will be actually going through the motions of it.
Mm-hmm.
Will Chuck Berry be one of those?
No, not Chuck Berry, but there is a couple of people that's...
Chubby Checker, maybe?
No. Chubby Wilbury.
Chubby Wilbury.
Well, Spike, I don't think there's any doubt. Did you knew about the Milli Vanilli controversy and that whole thing?
Well, actually, we were trying to get Milli Vanilli in the video.
Really?
Yeah.
The ones that perform on stage?
Yes.
Yes. And that fell through?
Well, they were actually in the Caribbean or something when we were shooting last Friday. And so they weren't in Los Angeles, so unfortunately we didn't get them.
And that brings me to the question, did the Wilburys sing on the record?
We sang on the
You did your own
Millie
voice.
record,
You-
and they sing on our record.
They do. Well, that's good.
That's good. Oh, we were wondering how the Wilburys got involved with guitarist Gary Moore. He's
Terrific, yeah. He's, of course, he's an Irish fella from Dublin, and he is a neighbor of mine. He lives, he's lived for the last 5 or 6 years just down the street from me. And I've gotten to know him, a lot over those years. I hang out with him a lot and play with him, and, he's just an incredible guitar player. When it came down to that one song, I just suggested that we have Gary on it, because he can do that kind of thing in his sleep, whereas for me, I'd have to wake up to try and play that.
well, you play a pretty mean slide there, Spike.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
My next question, Spike, is about Boo. On the volume 1, his name was Lucky, and then I
He
think.
can't help it if he's lucky.
Now, why was he called Lucky?
Well, you remember that song, Idiot Wind?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he says, I can't help it if I'm lucky.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Spike, now that the Wilburys have become international sensations and royalty invite you to their homes, do you ever look back in your humble beginnings and wish it would all be that simple again?
Yeah, sometimes, but, it's just a matter of striking a balance between, having time to get back to, the raft. I was actually born on a raft on a river in Siam. It's good to get back there occasionally, and as long as you balance it up and don't spend too long in Hollywood,
Well, what I'd like to know, Spike, is how did you guys get your sense of humor, and how do you manage to keep it?
I just watch, the rappers on television.
Spike, I was wondering when your friend George Harrison might follow up his fabulous Cloud 9 album.
Well, possibly, again, it's like, it's trying to know whether to try to make a record, that the record industry demands a certain kind of music that they can play on the radio, and that, hopefully will go on the charts and sell some copies. There's that conflict I know he has between just wanting to, record songs of various kinds of music and origins, with the conflict against, having to try and do what is supposedly commercial, although it's hard to know these days what exactly is even commercial,
Right. Well, his last time out, he just did what he wanted, and it seemed to do quite well.
Yeah, but it was still a bit of, the thought as to try and do, sort of music that may get played on the radio.
Well,
But there's a good chance, of that happening.
Good.
that's great. That's great. On Volume 3, it's a beautiful album. Congratulations. It's a great record. And I have a question about a couple of songs. The Devil's Been Busy and 7 Deadly Sins. Someone told me if I played those backwards, you'd hear some messages on the record. That is not true, or is that true?
Oh, not to my knowledge, no. We've never played them backwards.
So no hidden messages?
No hidden messages. There's, the message, there's pretty obvious messages in them there.
Mm-hmm. It's a great record.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Spike, we'll let you go in a couple of seconds here. I wanted to ask you, we're all missing, of course, the wonderful town of Lefty Wilbury.
Yeah.
And we're wondering if there's anything you'd like to offer in memory of the man and his talent.
Well, just that obviously he's missed, but fortunately we have little bits of films of his, and we have a lot of music of his that we can still remember him by, and and so just like with any of our friends who've passed away, that their memory lingers on, and you just have to be thankful that we were able to have that time with them when we were all alive together.
Well, Spike, thank you very much for talking to us here at WBCN.
Oh, okay, Larry or Carter, whichever. I can't tell you apart, actually.
Do we sound the same?
Do we?
You do over the phone, anyway. Okay, well, thank you and all the best, and say hi to all the people out there, and hope they like the Wilbury records that's coming soon. This is Nelson Wilbury talking to you on WBCN Boston.